Squad be in position.
Almost there, Kevin said.
I always knew having an oversight committee would be bad for business.
Tosh's reply carried an extra dose of sarcasm. Right. Or maybe you don't like the idea that someone's watching you, that you're accountable. He rolled his eyes as he continued to pace.
Accountability is fine. Accountability to politicians, also mostly fine. Accountability to morons, that's an entirely different situation.
She laughed.
Well, you'll still have the morons after tonight.
He nodded.
If only our enemies had chosen one of them to visit instead.
Left unmentioned was that a member of Sheen's team had almost certainly visited one of the morons, his private term for Senators Richardson and Borowski. That wasn't who they were interested in on this particular evening. While he'd love to see the two elected representatives from Nevada sent packing, their missteps hadn't yet ascended to the level of fraternizing with the enemy. Unlike tonight's targets. His adrenaline spiked as the tech announced, "Squad C in position, holding on your orders." He activated his comm, which connected him to all his people.
All squads, clear to proceed. Stay safe. Do good.
The last had become a frequent refrain for him, exhorting his team to perform well and reminding them that their mission serves society. He and his team securely held the moral high ground. Although tonight's operation might be at the bottom edge of that lofty perch, it still wasn't climbing into the mud with the terrorists who were their ultimate targets. Tosh muttered, "I should be there." He stopped his relentless movement and took a spot beside her, watching the screen.
No, I need you here. That's the burden of leadership, my friend.
You suck. The simple insult made him laugh despite the tension of the moment.
Not the first time someone's told me that. Doubtless won't be the last.
They both fell silent, eyes glued to the displays as tiny figures moved toward the front and back of the row house, ready to strike a blow against those who threatened their country. Senator Aaron Finley laid down his cards with a grin.
Gin!
Bryant sighed and threw his cards down in disgust, having been only one turn away from making the same claim himself. He added up the values of the multiples and sequences on the table, since tonight they were playing to 500, and looked at his watch.
Maybe I can get out of here before he officially beats me. Call it a draw. Is it time for another simulated failure?
They'd been playing cards to kill time between Finley's deactivation of the anti-magic emitter in the house. The senator had been feigning problems with the unit and said he'd even brought in some government techs to examine it to enhance the illusion. It meant that Bryant had to stay for several hours during each visit.
Not a particularly onerous task. Aaron's got good whiskey and is a fine conversationalist. All in all, I'd rather be back at the castle, though.
The conversion of the underground space on Polypole Island had gone swiftly, taking less than a week to change from an empty shell to reasonable comfort. Ruby Aceda's Mistel friends would continue improving the site, but it was already a functional base of operations. They'd chosen to call it the Castle, in reference to Bannerman's Castle, the decrepit structure that was the island's most notable feature. Bryant shuffled the cards, pulling the cuffs of his dress shirt back as he did. He'd worn a suit to visit his old friend, more for Finley's comfort than his, since the senator would probably be a little nonplussed to see him in full combat gear again. Besides, this visit was one of the regularly scheduled meetings, not an emergency request, so he preferred to keep things casual. Finley rose from his seat with a groan and nodded.
Yeah, I think we're good. Now where the hell did I put that remote?
He wandered out of the dining room into the connected living room. Bryant returned the cards to their wooden storage case, smiling a little at the fact that the back of each was personalized with the senator's initials, as was the box.
Probably a gift from a lobbyist.
Finley's voice came from the other room.
It's off.
Bryant stood and finished the ice melt in his whiskey.
All right. Thanks, my friend. I'll see you soon.
He waved and muttered the